to another episode of One Thing Brain. I said One Thing Brain. Good morning, good afternoon, good morning. Can y'all tell I'm hype? Can y'all tell I'm hype? Like, this is the last Wednesday of the year. We made it, y'all. Like, we made it. We in there like swimwear on top of Apple gear. I don't know, just go with it. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1 Billion Brave. Y'all already know I'm your host, Dōmo Jones. I am so glad y'all here. This episode is called Dead Weight. We're going to get into why in a second. But listen, are y'all thankful that we almost in 2022? Like, 2021 has been a trying time for all of us. Nevertheless, if you're breathing, you got a whole nother day to do what you do and be true to you. You feel me? Okay, so let's get into all the analytics, all the prep. So I'm your host, Dōmo Jones, and this episode is called Dead Weight. Let's get in. Oh wait, I gotta introduce myself formally. I am a disability confidence coach. I am an author, and I have a few businesses on the side. Whoop whoop, dot dot bop bop, pot bop bop. And let's get into the dog on dang, what's it called? Rules. House rules. Let's get into the house rules. So house rules are we don't do any profanity on the show. That's not how we get down. No, 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 we don't do that. There's so many other words that we could use. Let's just use them, right? No bashing of um, religion, any of that. Like we don't get down on politics, none of that. Why? Because from one blood he made all the nations. So low key, like y'all family, we kinfolk. What up, Anthony? What up? Love you. And also, well, two things. Second thing, well, third thing. Third thing is okay. So you already know I'm a Christian. So we're going to be talking about Jesus Christ. Like you already know how we get down. He's the number one. That's how he. Without him, I'm nothing, and you ain't nothing. So he gonna get all the accolades. He got clout. That's it. That's all. Last thing, and this is the most important thing that I need you guys to know. This is the most important thing I need y'all to know. The last thing is this is the very first show that has a host with a disability that has guests that are disabled. The very first show. So Oprah, I mean, I've been saying this since episode 1. We episode 19. Oprah, what up, though? I hope you are ready with your door open and some fruit snacks at the front gate because I am coming for you and we about to talk. That's it. That's all. Okay, so how was everyone's Christmas? Did everyone have their family? Like, how was it? Did y'all get gifts? Would y'all get more socks, bow ties, lotion? What y'all get? What y'all get? Listen, okay. I am super excited that um I have another week of grace. I have another week of mercy. I have another week to do what I do. And with that being said, let's get into the episode. Wait a minute. Y'all see this on my foot, on my teeth? What is that? Listen, we live. There we go. Y'all don't want to tell me? Y'all don't want to tell me? Y'all want to tell me? Okay, so let's get into it. Now, this episode is called Dead Weight because we're gonna take you back to the time where my weight journey. Like we all have that one thing that we dealt with and that we deal with for forever. So, man. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I was a severe asthmatic. So you already know with that comes with steroids, that comes with inhalers. Good morning, Pink the Rockstar. I love you. That comes with albuterol, that comes with breathing treatments, y'all know, steroids times 20. So I was always at a slight disadvantage when it came to being active, because I was always the chunkier one. Two, I was always sick. And three, I had asthma. So I couldn't really do too much. Hi grandma, love you. I couldn't really do too much. And every time I would try, it would be like the breathing structure wasn't right? So with that, it was very, Kathleen, I love you. Good morning. It was very hard to just do stuff, right? So the active wasn't it. Okay, so because of the steroids and because I was severe asthmatic, I would be taking a lot of breathing treatments, inhalers, even to the point to where I got to taking breathing treatments and inhalers probably every week. I would have one in my backpack. I would have one at the school. I would have one in the car. I would have one in my grandma's. I mean, like wherever, because at any point it could trigger. If I got too hot, it could trigger. If I got too cold, it could trigger. Right. So keep that in mind. Okay. Now, I like to eat. Right. Like, I like to eat, and I'm getting somewhere with this because those that are disabled, I want you guys to know how important it is. Um, your size is very important to help your physical activity, like your movement. And for me, my movement is tainted because of the muscle weakness and the nerve damage, right? So I can't really have a lot of weight on me if I can barely move anyway. Help me out here. Like, what we doing? Something got to give at this point. So I didn't really. Good morning, Eric J. I love you. At this point, I didn't really know that until I got older. So yeah, stay with me. I'm a rock with you. Stay with me. Stay with me. Okay, so as a kid, grew up. My mom put me into sports. Tried to, very unsuccessful. Very unsuccessful in the sense of every time I would do some type of physical activity, I would always break a bone, fracture a ankle, something. It was always something. Pretty much something, very much something. It was always something, right? So that wasn't gonna work. And I had to stay in the house all the time. So I was eating. I mean, I just kind of like came with it. And it got to the point to where when I turned 16, yeah, when I was in high school, I turned 16, I was a good 275 easy. And I'm only 5 feet. 5 feet. I'm 5'1". Okay. Okay, let's get that very straight. I'm 5'1". That's it, that's all. And I was my knees were buckling every time I would take a step down the stairs. I took a step down one stair and my knee would come out of socket. I was sugar diabetes. I had high blood pressure. I was borderline. I had high cholesterol. It was just like so much stuff. And I was getting worse, even to where my asthma, they stopped giving me inhalers because I was going through them. I went through, let me see. Okay, so typically an inhaler, albuterol inhaler, lasts you about 3-4 months. Mine was lasting me 2 weeks. So you can imagine how swollen I was from the steroids, but then on top of adding me eating. Let me tell y'all this story. How much I was eating. So I was at my grandma's, and my stepdad, he tells this story on the pulpit at church on Sunday. And I just be like, gosh, why you gotta put me out there like that? You feel me? So I'm gonna tell it too. So I was at this point, I was living with my grandparents. My mom and I were living with my grandparents. And they were in the living room, or no, I'm sorry, they were in the office chilling, talking. I was in my room, which is the door, which was next door, and I would literally be sneaking past them, going in the kitchen, eating eating tortilla shells, hiding in the bathroom, eating the tortilla shells, and then going back in my room as if I was using the bathroom. I did that to the whole 12 burrito size, not the taco size, the burrito size, 14-inch, gone. Only thing that was in there was the wrapper. Like, that's it. I left nothing. Savage. Them dry dog on tortilla shells. What I'm gonna do? What you doing, Dōmo? Like, why you, for what? That don't even make no sense. It was crazy. So my mom just so happened to want to make burritos that night. Dagnabbit, Father, Lord Jesus, why tonight? Come on, like, why tonight? So she's like, getting all this stuff. She's like, where the shells at? And my grandma was like, I don't know. Did you buy them? She said, no, Dōmo ate them. And my grandma was like, nah, bro. Them 14-inch shells, it's about 12 of them, 14 of them things in there. She can't, like, it's impossible. She would be constipated to the mug. She didn't heat them up. They had no butter on them. She didn't make a quesadilla. I mean, like, you didn't even add no meat in it. It wasn't even a roll. Like, what? So my mom was like, Dōmo, get your in here. Did you eat the burrito shells? I'm like, Mom, no, like, what? Oh my gosh. Why would you even assume? I am offended. Listen, I went through the whole, talking about acting. I got the Global Peace Prize, is all I'm saying. I was like, no, oh my gosh, I would never do such a thing. Like, wow, that's 14 shells. I would not. She was like, you're lying. Not even get a belt, get a switch, because you're lying. And you keep lying. I done told the truth. After a while, I done told the truth. And she was like, I know it. She was like, I know my child. How did I do that? How did I eat burrito shells? Bro, my grandmother and my grandfather couldn't even believe it. They were asking me, like, how'd you do that? First of all, where'd you do it? And how'd you do it? So that's how you know. That's how much I was eating. Just eating. My mom and I would be spending the weekends with my dad. And I would eat before I left the house. And then I would eat again at my dad's house. Just eating for no reason. So that led me up to that 275. So I was at the point to where I was 17, about to graduate high school. And after I graduated, I hit like that 18 mark. And so when you're 18, you're considered legally grown, and you have the option of, if you want to have like the gastric bypass surgery. And I was a for sure candidate. For sure candidate. And at first I was like, I'm really not that big. Like, I'm really not. And my mom was like, no, you are, because you're 16 and 17 and you're at a size 4X, bro. I don't even know how to find your clothes anymore at this point. I can't even shop for you. And I'm like, but Mom, like, you still buying me cute clothes. So I felt like I still look good. And I did, but I didn't. I was looking like a doggone blowfish. What are we doing? You don't even have to live like this. You're 17. Bro, get it, find it and get it. Keep it and all. So went through that process of getting the gastric bypass. And it was, let me tell y'all, okay, the Lord knew what he was doing, because everyone knows I am a candy holic. Like, I love candy. I don't like cakes and pies and stuff, but give me some candy. Hi, Auntie, love you. Give me some candy, right? So They scheduled the surgery on Halloween, the day of candy, the day everybody gets candy. And I was like, bro, are you serious? Like, you're really about to schedule an entire surgery where I have to change my whole eating pattern on Halloween, the day that I can eat the most candy of life in the world. All right, Father, I see you. That's cool. That's cool. So I'm grateful that I did it. I'm super grateful that I did it. And I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to be able to see what it's like to drop so much weight. I lost about 150 pounds. I couldn't eat like the same stuff. And it was a beautiful thing to see. Right. So here's a trick. The people that don't tell you with the gastric bypass, it's not a magic moment. It's not. It's not at all. It is literally a life-changing moment. And it's a sacrifice that you have to be committed to for the rest of your life. Not only that, it is something that can be reversed, meaning that if you don't keep up with the routine of you eating right, you can definitely get back to the size that you were. Real quick, real fast, and real in a hurry. And I am, as of to date, I am 16 years out of 17 years out of, oh, I just told my age. What in the what? I'm 17 years out of having gastric bypass. And there was a time to where I felt like, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Like, I can eat whatever. I can eat anything. I can eat as much as I want. And it was starting to catch up with me. So much so that because I'm short, my feet were hurting every time I would be walking, and I would just be so tired and exhausted. I would just always want to like just go to sleep, knock out, right? So that, for me, with my medical conditions, that I can't do that. Like, I can't. I already use a walker, right? I already have muscle weakness. So muscle weakness on top of cheeseburgers, sandwiches, Subway. What are we doing? Cheetos, Doritos, Pringles, for what? Like, it didn't make any sense, right? So it was one. I'll never forget this. It was one. What was it, like a Friday night? And I was at the house, and I was in my bed, sleep, right? And I laid on my back. I could not get up. Now, I have vertigo, so I can't like lay flat, right, for too long, or the room would get dizzy. So I lay flat on my back, and I was trying to turn, and I could not move, bro. Like, I could not move my body, and I was literally stuck on my back. What? You don't even have to live like that. Why can't you get your own self up out your own bed? My mom had to, I literally had to like bang on the wall, and my mom had to come out of her bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and lift me up because I could not get out of my bed. That's how big I was getting. That's after the surgery. But because I got too comfortable, I'm eating whatever and not really being mobile, not really moving. I'm like injuring my feet, so I got to stay off my feet. So it's just like I'm consuming so much, but I'm not working anything off, right? So at this point, my mom was tapped out. She said, "Okay, enough's enough. Get it together. You're not doing nothing, actually. You're just eating, sleeping, no motivation. What are you doing? What you doing?" And you can't use your disability as an excuse, because you've had this disability for a long time. You've had this disability since you're 9. You're about 29. You're 30. You're 31. You're 32. Ain't no excuse. I'm not saying you do everything, but do something. And I was like, dang, man. Like, you right. But you got to put me out like that? All right, that's cool. So from there, I started doing yoga, right? I started doing yoga. I started getting like, the elastic bands, just doing stuff that's mobile. I did start going to the gym. Sometimes the gym is a little difficult for me because um me driving, and it's just a lot. Sometimes I'd rather be at home. And then I don't know, like, I still don't know how I'm gonna feel every day. So boom. I got yoga instructor, I got bands, I got weights. I started picking up little cans from the house, walking around doing like little stuff like that to keep me going. And it all salads, okay? Okay, Chantel, all salads 2022. 2022. So we're gonna get to that. Um, I had to like I had to do something. I had to switch it up. I had to because enough's enough. Like I'm over here basically at 2:30. What? Why we at 2:30? That don't make no sense. So cyber real quick. Mika was supposed to be on. She unfortunately she is on. Yes, she is. Let's. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I thought you see me in the backstage the whole time.
No.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Girl.
Listen, Mika in the hat.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sitting here listening to the story. Girl, praising the Lord with you. Dōmo, what? Oh my God.
Yo.
My bad, bruh.
No, it's okay.
Listen, I'm doing better, but the enemy did not want me to come on today.
He did not. But you said not so.
Listen, don't. Oh, okay. But I'm here.
Okay.
Finish telling. Yeah. Okay.
So no, we're gonna set aside my story. The moral of the story is y'all get right in 2022. Don't let the dead weight fool you. Okay. So because this guest right here, like y'all not even ready. First of all, I'm getting hot because these are on earmuffs. I'm just so excited. Okay, so
you are hilarious.
I just want to introduce. I gotta formally introduce Mika. Introducing Mika. Like that's it. Okay, Mika. So you have to tell us like your name, where you from.
Okay.
Tell us your name, where you from.
First of all, I love you. Thank you for having me on your show. Like I'm so honored. And so my name is Aeiramique. I go by Mika. And I'm from San Diego, for everybody that doesn't know. And yeah, I mean, whatever else you want to know.
We here. Okay. We're gonna get into it.
Okay.
So, okay, Mika, let's start from the top. Like, take us through the journey of how, like, where the switch come in your sickness. What condition do you have, so people can know, and then what happened, the transition.
Yeah. So whoo, man. So when I was really young, most girls go through their natural menstrual cycle. And I remember the day like it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that I seen anything. It was that I felt something. And I went to my grandmother and I was like, something's wrong with my stomach. And I'm 12 years old at this time. And so then I go to the bathroom, I, realize the girl thing has started. What I've heard about our whole lives, because Eve wanted to convince Adam to eat off the tree.
Thank you. Let it be known.
We're not even gonna go there.
Okay, so, because
so my grandmother, I was with my grandmother at the time. She calls my mom, and my mom didn't take it too well, which is interesting. But it's so interesting because she didn't take it too well because it was just like, oh, my daughter's becoming a woman type thing. But she didn't know that was the first day of what at the time felt like it was going to be the rest of my life. And it was going to be a very painful life. And from that point on, once a month, when that time would come, I would literally be balled up in a corner somewhere. I would be crying. And, back then, everybody would kind of talk about your period, like, oh, yeah, you get cramps here and there. Da, da, da. And then I would talk to like Anta, which is our cousin. For those that don't know, I would talk to Anta and she'd be like, girl, I don't have those issues. Like, that ain't my story. That ain't my struggle, right?
Right.
So I would talk to my friends, and no, I mean, it was annoying because of what you have to do during that time, but they weren't in pain. They weren't, crying. They weren't literally fearful of a new month. Like, that wasn't their life. And so my mom would take me to the hospital. Like, it would get so bad. I would literally be in the hospital constantly. And at the time, doctors didn't know, a lot of the things that they know now. There was no endometriosis. There was no.
Exactly.
One doctor told my mom, the best way I can explain it is that she literally is giving birth to a tiny little egg every month, and her body just cannot handle it. That's like what the doctor, I like making up stuff as they go because it was really unexplainable. So then fast forward, to my 20s, right? I was living in Vegas and I had a really bad episode. So, mind you, all the way up until this point, I would even go as far as to like pass out during that time. Girl, and get infections, and it's just so many different things. So now I'm in my 20s, I'm in Vegas, and it got really bad. One of my coworkers had to rush me to the hospital.
Wow.
Get in the hospital because I was a virgin for so long. They never did inserted ultrasounds or inserted anything. And the doctor was like, we about to insert some stuff and see what's going on, right?
Right.
And immediately I remember the technician that was doing my ultrasound jumped back. So at this point, when the doctors when somebody jump back, Dōmo, you
what
like,
you see that.
Right. And I remember them calling the doctor. And so what they thought and what they found at the time was endometriosis, but they also found giant cyst. They found giant cyst. But girl, that's not even, look, that was when life was good.
And that's a lot right there.
Right. That's not even it, right? So I remember calling my mom and I was crying, and they were telling me, like, if one of them ruptures, it's so big, and it's not just like normal, it's filled with blood. And so they're like, if it ruptures, it's not gonna be good, right? You're gonna be septic, like all this stuff. So I call my mom. My mom drives from Vegas. Drives from San Diego to Vegas and gets out there. And so that kind of started that journey process of like, what are we going to do? Are we going to do surgery? Are we going to all of that? So eventually I moved back. And my doctors tell me that my endometriosis is spreading. At that time it had spread. It was on, my fallopian tube. It was on my ovaries, and, it was growing at that time. So I, good old Kaiser. Okay. Good old Kaiser. So Kaiser, I have my first official serious surgery, and they remove my fallopian tube and a partial ovary.
Okay. Whew.
How
old were you?
Now I was probably I'm old. Lord Jesus.
You up there.
That was probably like 27, 28.
Wow.
So mind you, living your whole life going through this from 12 to 28, right? I had a little bit after surgery. Surgery was horrific. You know, it was a really hard time. And I remember because my mom had me really young. So she always, like my whole life, girl, when it came to men and boys, don't get pregnant. Like you're not going to be a young mom, you know, and that was always her thing. And I remember when they were wheeling me in for surgery, my mom told the doctor, save whatever you can. I said, who are you? I thought you didn't want me to have, you know? And she was like, that was when you were younger. Now you're moving to the 30s, girl. Come on.
We need a little residue, right?
Something, you know? So anyway, so they did. And that's why they ended up, you know, taking one fallopian tube and taking a partial ovary, and they still left me with the ability to possibly have children, although they told me it would be very difficult.
Right.
So fast forward to the last 2 years of my life. Okay.
I'm
Do
already,
you really want to go
already
down this
up,
dark
bro.
alley?
I'm already tearing up.
So I'm running for Congress. Auntie E and Uncle Tony. So mind you, I want people to know after my first surgery, right? So much had happened. We had a lot of loss in our family. I ended up losing my mom out of nowhere. I'm going through it. Mind you, I go um back into the hospital a couple more times. The doctors tell me that not only has the endometriosis spread, but it's starting to hit my lungs and other non-even reproductive areas. I didn't even know endometriosis could do that, right?
I was about to say, is that even normal?
Girl, no, it's not normal, right?
Wow.
So they're telling me it's spreading at a rapid rate. And I'm gonna tell you this, Dōmo. I would tell the doctors, like, I don't know, I think something else is going on too. I would say that, right?
Yeah.
Not speaking that on my life, but knowing your body, right? And knowing what certain things feel like. And then what happened is I started having pain even outside of my period. So I would have pain. Literally, I was having 1 week of no pain, maybe.
Wow.
Do you see what I'm saying? And so it got to a point where I was not living life. I was literally, like, people didn't even know. People did not know the struggle every day to, like, you know, get up,
pushing,
to function, right? And mind you, I work in politics.
Come on.
And I was running for Congress, and the Lewis Harris side of the family decided they wanted to do something in Arizona. Well, Arizona, that part of Arizona is right by the district. I was running in San Diego, and this other district, Imperial Valley, was part of my district. So Auntie and Uncle Tony picked me up so we could go up for Thanksgiving.
Right.
And I wasn't feeling myself. I felt fevers. I was feeling off. And I told them that I was like, something off, right? And this is before the pandemic was hand in hand with us, you know, so it wasn't, nobody was worried about COVID just yet.
Ain't no panorama hit.
Yeah. But we go up there, and in the middle of the night, something hits my stomach. Like, if you would have asked me, I thought I was gonna die. Could not walk. I was trying to call Auntie and Uncle Tony from the other room. I was throwing stuff at the door, everything. And I finally got a hold of them, and they called the ambulance, and that started the journey of the last 2 years. And we go to the hospital. They keep me. The first hospital didn't keep me. You know, Auntie, she was in there like, first of all, okay, Dōmo, she was in there like, she's in pain. Y'all gonna fix her, like, you know, Dōmo.
Not y'all.
You know, Auntie, she was like, no,
fix her in Jesus' name.
Yeah, when they were trying to let me go, she was like, you know, she trying not to cry, but she, at one point she did. She said, "No, y'all about to, we
are
ain't
not
doing this."
leaving here.
Right. And then Uncle Tony, Lord, we need you. The pray, Dōmo, look at me. The prayers started coming through. Okay, listen, listen,
Father God, in Jesus' name. I'm already knowing. I can see it.
Listen, so I get released one day. Within the next day, so I spent a few hours on Thanksgiving with the family. Within like the next day, Auntie and Uncle Tony had to take me back to the hospital. I was there. I can't remember. I think Auntie E's on here. I don't know if it was like a week or 2 weeks that I was in Brawley, girl, the middle of nowhere. And the only reason why they knew what hospital to finally take me to out there was because I was running for Congress and my campaign coordinator lives out there, and she gave us the game on what hospital to go to. Let me just tell you how God works, Dōmo.
Thank you, campaign coordinator.
Thank you, Miss Marlene. So the family's trying to figure out who's gonna stay up, who's gonna do, because Auntie E and Uncle Tony were spending the night. Auntie E had to,
so go back to work.
Yeah. Listen, when I say the family was full on nurses, they became nurses, Dōmo, right?
Okay.
So they're
so
talking
quickly.
They're talking about doing surgery, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to have surgery up in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
But I will say they took care of me. Mind you, running for Congress, it's the week I have to have so many signatures due to be on the actual ballot. Okay. So I sent out an email. Let me say thank you to the hundreds of people that showed up and signed and did all kinds of stuff. People were writing for me, right? Yeah. So I get released. I'm released for probably a day. My cousin drives me back. So mind you, I was there for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Finally drives me back to San Diego. I cannot walk, Dōmo. We have to register our voters. She's standing in line trying to take care of stuff for me, all that. So can't walk, get to the house. It's not going well. I'm still in so much pain. And I'm like, something is just not right. So get rushed back to the hospital. And I told you, I'm pretty transparent. So I tell the good, the bad, the ugly.
And the ugly, right.
Listen, now I may not ever say it again, but it was bad. When you get to the point where people have to help you use the bathroom, when you get to the point where Auntie is gonna kill me for saying this, because she's like, some stuff people just don't need to know, honey.
They do.
But as glamorous as people see me and all that, and I love you. I didn't wear no makeup today.
It's all good. You beautiful.
I showed up anyway. Okay.
Okay.
But as much as people see me, like, to have to at some point like wear a diaper.
Yeah.
Dōmo. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
People don't know. You do not know what people have to go through and experience, right? And then the trauma that comes along with being sick.
Right.
So back to the hospital, in and out weeks at a time. Finally, I'm in there for a month. Wow. Corona, she hit us hard, So everybody dropping like flies.
Wow.
Everybody dropping like flies. Okay. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm hearing the thing, and so mind you, I'm in there, and because of my fevers and the infection that has spread, people, they thought like, oh, does she have corona? No, I didn't have corona. Right. Girl. So the doctors tell me, they're like, hey, you're going to have a major surgery. And at this point now, I'm 30. And they say you're gonna have major surgery, and we know you don't have any kids. And really, you probably would have died if you would have had any kids.
Wow.
Okay. So we were saving these things that were killing you anyway for something that you was never gonna be able to do anyway. But I'm glad they did it while my mom was alive, so she could have that hope that maybe
exactly. Even though,
so, and they tell me you're gonna lose all your reproductive organs because the disease had come back and it came back rapid, and then you keep getting these infections. Dōmo, first of all, I go in for surgery.
Wow.
And we need to talk about doctors not doing right by particularly Black women while they're in pain. And we're going to park that. Remember to come back there.
Yeah.
I know.
At the park, right?
Let me know. Like, I know we only had a certain amount of time.
You good.
Good? Okay.
You good.
So I have surgery. And the surgery went longer. And when I say how bad the surgery was, when I got out of surgery, they had parked me, and this is nothing to the hospital. It was just a mistake. They forgot to notify the family. But everything inside of me, girl, let's not talk about, but it's still trigger for me. And they had parked me in my room, but in the corner, because, the surgery bed and all that. And I'm really still giving y'all the short version of the story for time purposes. So this is the crazy thing about it all. So they parked me, and I remember praying. I was in so much pain, and I was just crying out to God. And I was like, God, I'm about to let go. And I talk about this before the surgery. I had told the doctors, I told my aunt, because my face, I thought I had a stroke. My face had went to the side. There were so many things that there were so many things that happened. And I remember telling my aunt, my Aunt Audrey, she stayed in the hospital for that whole month during COVID. They weren't letting everybody in. Uncle Tony now was sneaking in. Okay. They were sneaking in, Dōmo.
Listen, he's 7 feet tall. Like, what they gonna do?
That part.
Uncle Tony said, I don't care what.
Girl, he was probably showing that old badge, officer. Okay.
Bam. Okay.
Boom. So Auntie Audrey stays with me at the hospital. I remember looking at her, and I started reminiscing about childhood. I started going down, when you close to death.
Yeah, you start thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you could feel it too. You just know, Yeah. And I remember looking over, and I was like, Auntie, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Woo! And there was a peace.
That's scary.
There was a peace about it, because mind you, I have faith through everything. I would push through, have faith. And it wasn't that I didn't have faith. It was that I had really got content with whatever God's plan for me, because I knew his plan was not for me to stay in pain and live in pain, right?
Exactly.
I struggled at first, because I'm like, God, I know what you told me I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I know what you told me my purpose was, and I know I haven't completed that purpose. And so I was confused with, okay, am I going or am I staying?
Right.
And then I got to this piece of, he's not going to allow me to live like this. And I remember looking over at my aunt, and I was in so much pain. And I said, Auntie, I don't think I'm going to, make it. And the biggest thing that my mom told me, my mom was not expecting to die or anything. But my mom knew it. She knew she would pass. And I remember on Christmas, the last Christmas I spent with my mom, I told her, not on purpose, but I told her that this was her last year, and she knew it. And what happened was, we were opening up gifts. This is why this time of the year is so hard for me. We were opening up gifts, and sometimes I can't multitask, so I was opening it up, and I kept saying, well, Mom, this is your last year. This is your last year. And I said it about, I don't know, so many times. And at the time, everybody looked up at me like, what? And so my mom said, my last year for what? And I said, your last year in your 40s. And that was because she was turning 50. And from that point, her spirit, everything changed. So, and I remember she knew something I didn't know. And I wanted, and she sent me this text one day, because I used to be like, Mom, if I ever pass away, like, especially if I I was on my period, I'd be like, I want this type of casket. Y'all need to do this. I want this on.
Everybody wearing this color, right?
Yeah, as a mother, you never want to hear that. And so she's like, you're not ever going before me. And she said, when I go, just take care of my kids.
Wow.
And she said that, right? And so in this moment with my aunt, I'm really thinking about like, I can't die because I have these kids. You know what I'm saying? That I said this to my mom. But on top of that, I'm like, it's looking bad. They couldn't get my blood pressure under control. Everything that could go wrong. So I have the surgery, Dōmo. Then after the surgery, you know, it's difficult. They put an epidural in me. You know, I'm paralyzed. I can't, move.
Pretty much, right.
I'm going through it.
Wow.
And they come. I remember a whole group of doctors, and in front of my aunt, they apologized. And they apologized because they said, they knew endo was bad and they knew it was growing, but they didn't know how bad it was until they got in there. Wow. And when they got in there, Dōmo, they said all of my reproductive organs were mushed together because the disease had got on everything so much that everything was mushed together. Okay? Everything was mushed together. And they said it was so bad that it took longer than what they expected. And then they said, They said, I don't know how you have been living like this.
Come on.
Okay? But Dōmo, I'm not there yet, Dōmo.
Come on. I know. I know.
Come on, you better preach. So so that happens, right? Wow. So I go through start going through just trying to get past. I finally get out. I get out, Yeah. And I remember it like it was yesterday. They called me. So they didn't tell me everything in the hospital. They called me, and Grandma was there.
Come on, Grandma. Girl. I think Grandma's on here.
Yeah, Grandma was there, and Auntie and Grandma are sitting at the little the island. And I seen the doctors calling, and I looked at it, and I put the phone down because when you in pain and you don't want to, and you're in recovery sometimes looks worse than what you just went through, right? You starting to rethink why you even went through that process, right? So right. I'm like, I'm going.
Was it worth it?
Listen, honey, I'm going through it, right? I'm in pain. I'm crying. It's so much going on. Yeah. So I see the doctor. I said, I'm not answering this. So I should have answered, okay? Because I had a
grandma.
There goes grandma. I had a doctor. Normally doctors don't leave certain things on a voicemail. Well, this doctor did. And she said, "Hi, Miss Glass. One thing that we didn't tell you because we didn't want to worry you, she was like, but when we needed to test it, she goes, we took out your appendix because." I said, wait, so Dōmo, I'm looking down like, I know I ain't got no reproductive organs, but I ain't got no appendix either. So I'm like laughing, but I'm like, I'm listening to her. So I'm like, you took out what? Y'all didn't tell me this part. She said, yeah, we had to take out your appendix. And you need to call us as soon as possible because we sent it out for testing and you have cancer.
What?
When I mean,
that's a gut puncher, bro.
On my voicemail. And so, Anton, I start like Dōmo. You know me, I'm really calm and laid back person, even through the most crazy stuff, right?
Yes.
So Grandma and Anton are looking at me like, what? I'm panicking. Like I am losing it because I kept saying, I told people, I was like, I told my doctors, I said, I don't know what cancer feel like, but I think I got it, right? And they reassured me. They said, no, your endometriosis feels like cancer and it looks like cancer, but it isn't cancer and it can't kill it. You're going to be in excruciating pain, but it won't kill you.
Wow.
That's what they told me, right? But when you know your body, when you can't walk for weeks before I had all this stuff, I knew something, okay?
That's crazy.
And so they say you have cancer, and I'm just like, I call the doctors back. They tell me that I might have to have another surgery. That's what they're talking about. So now I don't have just one specialist of the endometriosis and the reproductive team. Now I have the oncology, all these different names
Right.
I had to learn real quick. Okay. Real quick. And I remember
Oh my
grandma
gosh.
went into immediate prayer.
Yes. I already
Listen,
know. The
listen,
blood of Jesus. The blood. The blood.
listen. Pray that cancer right on out, okay? And Anta calmed me down and she said, Mika, let's call the doctor back and hear what they have to say.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, Anta, like, girl,
And just so calm too.
yeah, but and that's good because I don't normally panic like that, but to hear you have cancer, other than losing my mom
Right.
and getting that call, that was probably the worst moment because when you think you're out of something. But I'm gonna wrap this up because there's a message in this, Domo, and I'm gonna say this. There's a message in this, don't, and then you ask me whatever. But so my doctors tell me, they're like, we're probably gonna do another surgery. There's a team of cancer doctors. We all get together. Shout out to UCSD Hospital. We all get together.
Right.
We discuss your cases, all this. And I told my doctor, I said, look, I see how people go during their fight, and I'm a fighter. I'm a fight, but whatever you don't have to do, let's not do it.
Yeah.
Because what people don't know is I was on chemo before I knew I had cancer. Just listen to me, Domo. Domo. I was on
Wait,
chemo.
what?
I know they had me on a prostate chemo for men who have prostate cancer because they found that it helped with endometriosis. Okay, come on. Wait, let me just tell you. Let me tell you, Domo. So I was
That's
on a chemo
crazy.
before they even knew I had cancer, right? And there were other things that I had to go through. And I was just like, I don't know how much more my body can physically
There it
take at
is.
this point, right?
That's it right there. Yep.
And I don't want to live the rest of my life in pain, but I also don't want to quickly deteriorate and go.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, kind of like, doctors, what y'all trying to do? And they said, not only did I have cancer, they said the type of cancer that I had, and everybody be dying from these rare cancers, was a
Right.
rare cancer that they started seeing in young women in their early 20s, late 30s. It's like that window. And they said, I'm in like, girl, it's literally like a such a low percentile of people who actually get this type of cancer. And the name is so long that I can't even, but I just tell people appendix, okay? Just know that. Appendix. But it's a blood cancer. And so what they told and Anta, we were having this conversation, is like what they told me is it's rare, it's slow growing, and we caught it before it spread everywhere. We want to go back and take surgery and take out part of your bowels. And see, I wasn't, what people didn't know is I could not pee without almost passing out. And I would be bleeding, hemorrhaging as well. So I had to have 2 blood transfusions. This is stuff people don't know, girl.
Because I
And
was
then
seeing you. I was seeing you at the fam. Like what? I was literally seeing you at Christmas and Thanksgiving, and I didn't know any of this. Wow,
yeah.
that is wild.
So they tell me after, some consultation, they say, you know what? Because you're so young and because you just had this other surgery, we're not going to have surgery. What we'll do is we'll monitor you every 6 months. The only fearful thing, we believe we got all the cancer when we went in there. But the only fearful thing is if there's a little bit in there and it breaks into your bloodstream, there is no reversing that. Like, so basically, you know, so, and I had to come to grips with that. I had to come to grips with not only, Lord, did you allow me to have a cancer, but why I gotta have the most rare cancer that if a little piece break off, I'm out of here, right? Like, what? You don't think
why you gotta be so extreme?
Yeah, but I'll tell you this, and this is what God gave me out of this. I think about when the Red Sea was parted, and how the very thing that the people thought was going to be a hindrance to them, and it was, right? They're having a big ocean. You got the enemy behind you. You got they coming for
in front of you. Right.
You got the ocean in front of you, and you can't see any way out.
But God told you to cross it. How? Right. Right.
And God will use the very thing that was a hindrance to you to keep the enemy from getting you.
Right.
And the endometriosis, which was a hindrance to my whole life and very painful, was the very thing that kept the cancer from killing me.
Wow.
And when I came to that, when I came to that realization, is that what I seen as a hindrance, what I seen as painful, and I didn't just see it, I felt it as painful. But remember what I said, the doctor said, it's painful,
but it won't
kill you.
Woo!
But the thing
that's a word right there.
Listen, Dōmo. But the thing that could kill me, God made sure that I had to go through that surgery so they could find the thing that they could not see with their bare eyes.
Right.
The thing that the ultrasound wasn't picking up. The enemy that was the doctor said why I was in even more pain than just the endometriosis was because of the cancer. And when it hit me, when it started to manifest itself, truly, that's when that pain took me out. I couldn't walk, all those things that I was going through, right? But nobody could see the cancer until they got all the other disease out the way. And they found the very thing that could kill me if it grew any larger, right? And that's what I need people to understand, that thorn in your side, that thing is only literally preparing you. Like and that's the biggest thing is like when we say pain as Christian folks, your pain has purpose.
Yeah.
People just be saying that. And I say, no, pain is to identify that there is a problem.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Right. And that's the thing. And so when I think about how God will use that very thing that you thought they thought the ocean, if they went through, they were going to drown, all these different things. And he's like, no, I'm going to part this thing for you. And this enemy that's trying to get you is not going. And then he'll use the very thing that's been a hindrance to take your enemy out.
Take them out. Come on.
Dōmo? Okay?
That is deep.
So,
wow.
That's the kind of God we serve, though.
That's the kind of God we
That's the kind of God we serve. And so I'm so grateful about my experience. It was painful. I'm working on some things to help other women through this. But I need people to understand, like, I never questioned God. Like, yeah, I would have these conversations and I was confused.
Right. Nope. The devil ain't going. Okay.
The enemy tried.
He tried it, but he didn't finish.
But I never questioned God, through it all. And that's what I love about, even I remember coming to see you in the hospital. And people never know. And I think about this. It's like when you're sick, people don't really know what you're going through. Like they see you in a state, but they don't know what you're going through, right? And I remember thinking like, although Dōmo has been dealing with this since she was 9, I never want to become sensitive to seeing her like this.
Oh.
Because this is not where you're going to stay at.
Right.
And I always had that mentality, right? And I wanted people, and that's why when you say you see me at Christmas, I never wanted people. I wanted people when I did tell my story, when I did come out with the story and everything, I wanted people to say, when we look back and we talk about how Jesus carried his cross, I wanted people to say, like, and know, even when you know where you're going, when you're walking in purpose, you carry that cross a lot different.
You do.
When you trust in God and you trust in the purpose and the plan, you carry it. It's not that it's not painful.
It's just temporary. You know that it's temporary.
It's a part of my purpose.
Right.
And I want people to know what that looks like. And it's not being honest about your pain and what you're going through, but it is saying like, I know God, I know what God told me. Right. I know what he put me on this earth to do. I know that he's not going to take me out until I fulfill that purpose. And so I'm going to carry this thing with faith. I'm going to carry this, and do I need, some aunties and some Uncle Tonys and my mom when she was here and my Aunt Audrey and some auntas and the praying grandmas. Yes.
Right.
But I'm
because the thing is, the thing is, if this is something that I kind of take on to, like, if okay, we all got medical conditions. I'll speak for myself. I have a medical condition probably about twice a week. It's always something, right? But I don't let that become so big to where it overpowers my conversation with me. That's the only thing someone notices. Yeah, my foot hurt. Okay, what we talking about? Like, let's move on. Why? Because I know that this is just something that I have to deal with. But it's not something that is dealing with me. I'm dealing with it. It's not overtaking me. I'm overtaking me. So it's not about to take over my entire life. This is not what you're gonna see, because what you see is me. You don't see my thing. You don't see my struggle. I have it, but that's not gonna overtake who I am.
Exactly.
Because God, in all things, give thanks, right? So I'm giving thanks for the pain.
Come on.
I'm giving thanks for the struggle. Like, I'm giving thanks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so, like you said, like when you have a purpose, you carry your pain differently. Because you see further than what you see currently. People see it currently. They see, oh, you hurting. Oh, you're in the hospital. No, I'm over here looking at 2 years from now when I'm going to be in a national state. You know what I'm saying? We looking like that. That's what we see. You don't see right now.
Yeah. And then people don't know. And I'll tell you this, Dōmo, people don't know why you move the way you move too. Do you see what I'm saying? Because this is the thing. And I'm gonna say this now because I think I'm at a healed spot to say this.
Yeah.
I went through a special election. And I went through a special election and it came out of the clear blue sky. And everybody who was supposed to, like, the person who was going to fund the campaign and all that, she pulled out. It was a lot of stuff because I was really going up against the Secretary of State's daughter, and nobody wanted. She's the one that runs the election, so ain't nobody wanted to deal with going up against her, right? So all my friends that I thought were friends ain't friends no more, because like.
I see your true colors shining through, bro.
Right. But you have to understand, people don't have the same type of faith. People don't have the same type of faith. And I think about this. And I told my friend this the other day. I said, because he's just gone through a lot. And I said, people are assigned to you and have a purpose to your life, just like Judah had to Jesus. Yeah. Judas had to Jesus. Okay? His purpose and assignment was to betray him.
Right.
And And people don't understand the purpose and why you move a certain type of way. And it's like, look, number one, I just went through a life and death situation. Not only that, I have a diagnosis for cancer. Yeah, I am now. I'm 34. Yeah, I think I'm 34.
Wow. I
Something like
mean,
that.
get up there.
That part, you right there with me. Okay, you're right behind me. So don't don't get too. But they're like, you're so young. Yeah, I'm young, but my struggle looks different than yours. My faith looks different than yours.
Yeah.
How I move looks different than you, right? And so don't put limitations on me saying, oh, your time will come, you will do that. No, because you don't know somebody's personal whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't know the assignment. And whatever, I went through that election, I got through it, and that was really to be able to remove people from my life, because another thing that will make us sick and that will manifest into these cancers and diseases and sicknesses when you carrying around everybody else's mess. But that's for another show and another day.
We gotta
That
do a part 2, part 3, part 4. Okay, because that's good.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's good. And that's so key. This you hit something so deep, bro. That is so key. A lot of times people that have disabilities, because we feel sorry for ourselves and we want to be loved and welcomed and viewed as normal, we take on other people's problems because we want to lessen ours. I don't have a problem. I have a condition.
Come
You have
on,
a problem.
come on.
I was born with this condition, and this condition is not something that I can just take a tape off or go 2 weeks and then I'm good. No, no, no. This is not no light bill. This is not my car got towed. No, no. I have a condition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about to carry on my condition on top of your problem.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And then it's making me sicker.
Right. And I got to deal with it while you at the grocery store, and I got to Instacart because I can't wake up. I can't get out the
Come on.
bed
Come
because
on.
I'm hurting. I'm in so much pain, and you just left the movies.
Come on.
Talking about texting me, talking about, are you okay?
Knock it off.
No.
Knock it off.
We're not taking on people's problems.
Mm-mm.
We got
Mm-mm.
enough.
We have enough. And you hit it on the head. We have enough. And that's the thing. And I'm gonna take it a step further, Dōmo. Because boom, boom. I'm gonna take it a step further because I think also, and I was talking about this the other day because a pastor called me out the clear blue. He seen me at a meeting and he just he said the Holy Spirit told him to call me. Okay. And so thank you for listening to Holy Spirit. But he said something, and he said, you could take the cape off.
Oh,
He said, every time I call you, every time I check on you, anything, you could take the cape off. He said, because outside of your family and your close friends, people don't see you as human.
they see you as supernatural, like superhuman. That's
As
deep.
a superhero. And in one way, it could be meant, it is a compliment. I'm so thankful. And yes, I am strong in all of that. But because people don't see me as human, they really don't correlate what I've been through, the trauma that comes with being sick. Half the time people don't be like, hey, Mika, how are you?
Right.
What
Because
can
they
I
always
do
think you
for you?
good. Yeah.
It's I need X, Y, and Z, and you the person that can make this happen for me,
Right.
and that dehumanizing, right? And I don't think anybody does it intentionally. It's a painful thing that we go through
Yeah.
because we go through things. Dōmo, you have gone through things that some people have not been able. You've bared crosses that some people haven't been able to bear. And so there's a lot of people looking at you saying, I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she's still here.
Mm-hmm.
And they cannot wrap their head around it because if it was them, they would have crumbled. Right.
Right.
And so I have to remind them and myself, it ain't me. it's the Lord. It's the
Right.
Jesus. It's the God
Right.
I serve.
For
You know,
real.
it's not me because my flesh physically cannot handle it. My flesh was over here talking like Job, like, okay, Lord, I've been a good and faithful servant.
Okay.
Look, you can let me go now. You done
Right.
took everything from me.
I don't have anything else at this
Yeah,
point.
I had extreme death on top of death on top of death. And then, and not only that, losing all your reproductive organs as a woman, that is death too, as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Yes.
To never be able to give and bear children.
Right.
So I
That
had
that alone.
experienced loss and death and you losing your mom, going through all this stuff.
And
And
then the
then,
pandemic hit.
the pandemic,
So you
well,
didn't really even have any support around you like that.
yeah. I mean,
Woo.
luckily our family is writers. So, I had to
I
listen.
mean, I had the support.
I was just talking to Uncle Tony and Auntie E, like they was taking shifts, girl. Like everybody was, my siblings were very helpful. Anta, she works a lot, but the girl was there. She
Listen,
was writing
okay,
for, she
flying
worked found me
in.
in the corner after I had surgery. Like I would, Anta, she was like, "What? They got you in here?" So yeah, everybody, grandma,
I love our
listen.
family, bro.
Yeah, our family is some writers, so
Heavy writing.
all the everybody. They said we gonna be there. Uncle Tony snuck me like 50, like a whole bunch of Oreo cookies. Like I had a craving for some reason. Uncle
Yeah,
Tony
yeah.
snuck them out to me, girl. So they was there.
That is so funny.
But yeah, so I hope people, are blessed by, just not just the testimony, but like you said, it's a condition. So we're still walking in this stuff. And don't feel bad for us, don't feel sorry for us. Um,
Right.
but know that there's a lot that comes with this
Yes.
walk. And our walk is a little bit different.
So we're gonna move different. Our conversations are gonna be different.
Mm-hmm.
Our styles are gonna be different. Our no's are no's for a reason. It's not to be anti or it's not to be combative, but we're thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, when I do go a lot of places, but I don't go a lot of places.
Yeah, you be on the move.
Uh,
You go
wait,
more places than me.
wait,
Okay. Right.
nigga, you be everywhere. You be at. I seen you on the doggone billboard yesterday.
But I don't, you know what, if you don't knock it off, but I don't, what people don't know is I don't do a lot of extracurricular activity. I do. I like to travel and stuff, but that's my mental health.
You just walking on the whole freeway.
Yeah, but that's the
See,
work. That's the ministry. That's the calling. That's the purpose. Like, you be out.
I
You be out socializing.
be out, but I be in. And when I'm in for a reason. I'm in because the weather doesn't work well with my body. So it's not,
Mm.
a lot of people get it confused when they see me out and then they invite me somewhere or they're asking me to go somewhere. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna sit this one out. Well, why? Just cause last week. Don't worry about last week. We're not worried
Mhm.
about the past. Cause
Mhm.
I ain't turned no.
Mhm.
As of
Mhm.
today, I have to go by what my body feels like today. And I have to go by what my body's going to feel like in the future because I can be good one day. And if I exert myself too much, I'll be down for 3, 4 days.
That there's a message in that, Domo. What people don't know about us is since we were kids, we literally have been ministering to each other.
I know.
Hey, Domo, that like, do you realize that? I don't care what you say, girl.
I don't care what. It doesn't matter.
There's a message in that. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna go down the path on what the message is, because we once we go down that path,
This will
we're
be
gonna
a
have church
sermon. This will
on
be
this
a
whole
church
line.
service.
Listen, and there's no ushers at these folks' house to help them
Because
and fan them when they pass.
I will lay
No.
myself out and
Mm-mm.
then pick myself back up. I would lay my own self out because I was all things, growing up in church, you got to do every ministry.
Right. All 1,500 of
Everything.
them.
I can give you the mic. I can give you the handkerchief.
I'm an
What you
usher.
need. I can
I'm
give you a
a
mint.
minister. I'm
What?
going to lay the oil on you.
And I'm trying to light the door.
Come on.
All of it. Clean church and everything. No, but I definitely one, I thank you for your transparency because that your journey, your story is not something easily talked about at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like women don't want to share how they can't be a woman. I mean that like that's literally what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even be what you're destined to be.
Mm-hmm.
But is that may not be your destiny. Ooh! That may not be your
Dōmo. And
destiny.
I will say this. When I was in the hospital, it was the night before they were about to take out everything. And one of the people that I mentor called me. And she's older than me, so to hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling her I'm about to lose it all. And I say, I don't really want no kids anyway, but I'm not, if I change my mind, I can't, I'm out of here.
Right.
And she said something so powerful to me. She said, you've been a mother to so many.
Mm.
She said, when I even mention your name, everybody talks about what you have done or who you've helped.
Right.
Like, think about all the kids that you've mentored. I started working with kids. My first job was at a preschool. Then I went into mental health. And then, mental health and working in the juvenile justice system before I got into politics, all I did was work with kids. I'm good. They drive me crazy, but I'm good at it, right?
Right.
And then when my mom leaves, she tells me to take care of the age gap between my youngest sister is 18 years. With my other two, it's 13 and 12 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I said my mom started all the way over, she started over and out. She made me watch my brother be born because she wanted to use it as a birth control, right? But with the youngest one, Dahlia, me and Dahlia are literally the age difference of me and my mom.
Wow.
So when talking to this person, she said, you even raised me. She said, I'm older than you, but she said, you even raised me. And that's what even solidified, like once you have your first period, you are a bona fide solidified woman. Period.
You in there.
Period. And that's another message for another day. We're not going to go down that path. But what solidified things for me is that the Bible says be fruitful and multiply. And a lot of people equate that to just giving birth, getting married and giving birth and having kids. But what people fail to remember is that being fruitful and multiplying and reproducing does not just have to be in the physical sense. It can be in the spiritual sense of mentoring people, planting seeds. I mean, half of the kids that I've mentored and taken care of and worked with, girl, they making more money and doing better than me.
Okay.
Because as a parent, right, you always want your children to surpass and be better than you, right?
Yes.
And so that is in order to be in my space and in my circle, and I have a mentee. Everything you do, I'm looking at you to operate better than what I operate. Right. And so I rejoice when they're doing great and they, but that was and that's what a lot of why these churches are, and then redirect me, Dōmo, because I can go down these paths, okay? So just redirect. But why a lot of these churches are failing, and I want to, I have some surprises for you, and you're gonna come on my thing next time. And we're gonna have a little discussion. But why things fail, because we're not planting enough seeds and passing the baton on and making sure like everybody's in competition versus
Right.
developing people and pouring into people so that this next generation can sprout up and be better than
The
what we are,
nurturing. No
right?
one's nurturing.
No one's nurturing, no one's doing all of these things. And so for me, that's part of my purpose, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my pain was connected to my purpose because I feel like if I had kids, my child would be the bubble boy or the bubble girl living in a bubble because I'm that over, what,
Yes.
like I'm crazy, right? And so they would probably be my focus. But not being able to have kids of my own and all of that gives me the ability to pour into so many other kids that don't have, I worked in the foster care system for 10 years.
Wow.
Pouring into kids that did not have parents.
Yeah, yeah.
I talk about how one of my kids, this little white boy, he just passed away last year. But he's part of the reason why I was able to fight the way I did, because I seen him go through hell, and I would stay in a hospital with him. He would say, "Oh, my black mom over there," like that's how he would talk. But seeing you at a young age move like that, think like that, and be able to fight through that. And when I was in the hospital with that last surgery, he was in the hospital suffering too.
Wow.
Because he was dealing with what he was dealing with, and he finally, he fought a good fight. But this is what I'm saying is he always contributed and reached out. Now he was in his 20s and he's reaching out to me because he's like, Miss Mika, you poured into me so much. And so there's so many kids out there that call me Mama Mika, that call me, so many different things. But it was when this older woman said, you raised me, because she was like, I was emotionally immature. I was spiritually immature. And as much as you poured into me, and she said, you would get out of your bed. Because sometimes people got to remind me of what, when you just doing it and you walking in your stuff, you don't always remember.
You don't think of it, right. You don't think about it.
She said, she was like, you was dealing with all this. She was like, but you would get out of your bed in the middle of the night and drive 30, 45 minutes to come get me. And she's like, and I'm a grown woman.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And so I think for me, it's okay, because what God really showed me is that you not only have you been fruitful and multiplying, because there's a lot of little mini Mikas out there and really people that are doing way better than me. Right. But I was at the foundation of that. Right. And then some of my kids is in jail. And that's the hard parenting part of this too. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, Lord,
not everybody gets it.
Yeah, and they probably got a phone in jail right now, watching this live.
Extra work. Need a little extra work.
But I just wanted to say that too, is like sometimes God's promise comes in different forms, and it doesn't always look like what you think it should look like, or what people say it should look like.
Right.
So
true.
So
true. I definitely agree, and I think the older I'm getting and the more mature I'm understanding. Because if I didn't go through anything that I've been through, I wouldn't even have the show. Like literally, I wouldn't even have this platform, because what can I talk about? How can I relate to someone that has a disability if I never had one?
Mm-hmm. Your whole brand, though.
My whole brand. I wouldn't even have a nothing. Like, I wouldn't even have a book. I wouldn't even have any businesses. I wouldn't even be a coach, like, without the pain.
Without the pain.
Without the pain. Like, Grandpa was the one that told me I need to start a book. But if I didn't go through anything, what would be the book about? Nothing. Like, so it comes in different forms, like you said, but it's for the purpose. And the purpose is to show people how we breaking stigmas beyond our condition. And who's keeping who first of all, God is the only one that gets all the credit.
Come on. Dōmo, come on.
He's the only one.
All the credit.
He gets all the credit. And I say it every episode on this show. He is always going to get the number one credit. And he is always going to get the number one praise, because without him, I am nothing and ain't nobody nothing. Like, not one person
Mm-hmm.
is anything. And I'm just so grateful that you shared your story. Like I was looking at the comments, I was reading a lot of the comments. A lot of people were saying like, thank you for your transparency. I had to go through that too, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to have someone to listen to that actually went through it too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank y'all for the comments. Like I
Yes.
appreciate it. I saw
Yes.
Grandma, I saw Auntie E on there. I saw
Thank y'all.
Shani on there.
Ah!
Erica, Ashley, I love everyone, and I thank you so so much. But I definitely want people to know, what are you getting to next? Like, what are you about to be, the governor of the union? Like, what you doing? Are you about to be the governor of the state, the senator of the world? What?
Um, I have some tricks up my sleeve,
Come
but
on.
up sleeve. You know what? I went through a traumatizing election this year, and it was only 2 months. It was a special election, but it was traumatizing. I lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of relational death that took place in that, and I needed that, right? But
Yes.
I really promised myself and God, and mind you, I had just come out of healing.
Right.
What people forget. So I just really wanted to take some time. I just wanted to take some time off, and I think the question that everyone keeps asking me is like, what are you running for next? What are you going to run for? What are you going to run for? And I do have an idea. I can't say because the spies are on,
Right.
but it's not going to be anytime soon. It's not going to be anytime soon. And right now I'm just focused. Like, I'm working on a show, a pilot TV show that's going to be shopped around.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yes.
I'm working on. I wrote a children's book. Yeah, I'm working on. I don't even want to say the name out loud, but I'm gonna tell you. Okay, you're getting an exclusive. So I wrote a children's book, and it's called Pretty Protectors, and
Oh.
about unicorn superheroes. And a lot of people used to call me. They'd be like, "Oh, she's really smart for a beauty queen," and like even on the campaign trail, I would have to earn people's because they want to see you, but you don't know what somebody went through, right? You just see what you see, but you don't know. Come on. So
There's a
anyway,
scene behind the scene.
out of that, I wrote a children's book called Pretty Protectors, and we built a brand around it, and I'm really gonna
Man.
focus on that brand. I'm gonna focus on the brand of the show and the pilot that's coming out. And for the next couple years, I'm just gonna focus on that. And then I plan on running for office. It's gonna be my last run. Well, no, I wouldn't say it's gonna be my last run, but if
Life
I
cycle.
if
Life
I if I
cycle.
well put it like this, God gives a sign. So if I don't win the third time, it's time to let it go.
We
No, but
get it.
the first time is when I got sick, so I never got to make it on the ballot or complete it.
I mean, but
So
that could have been a sign.
yeah, it could have been.
It could have been. It could
Yeah.
have been a sign. I mean, you
But
don't
then
know.
but then let's rewind, Domo. I remember God's promise. Ooh, come on. Come on. So come on. So
Yes.
so sometimes it's like I know what it might look like, but so anyway, yeah, but it was a sign. It was a sign to say, when you do some stuff, right, you also have to take care of yourself.
Yes. I was just about
And
to say that.
you're no good to anybody if you
If
first
you know good to
if
yourself.
you're no good to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I needed to be able to know how to lead people and lead large groups of people and still be able to take care and pour into myself. And
Right.
that's the message. See, the Congress was the message of Mika. Yes, I gave you the promise and I told you what you're gonna do, but I need you to do that in a responsible way because I was living for everybody else and I was taking on everybody's stuff and I was being sick. I worked. I'm a workaholic. Everybody know. And God was like, no.
You're doing too
And so
much.
that, yeah. And so responsibility is, even though you're a great leader and you do all these things, also being a great leader is taking care of yourself, making sure you're healthy, making sure you're actually doing what the doctor says, all of those things. Like, that's responsibility, because you can't take care of all these people if you're not taking care of yourself. Then the second time was you carrying around too much luggage and baggage of people who will betray you, will kiss you, and then betray you. And the kiss is betrayal, because their idea. Anyway, I'm not going to go there, right? And there's a lot of people that was walking with me in envy and jealousy, and not out of really rooting for me and wanting me to win, right? And so each one of those runs were a message, but it wasn't for me to be in that position and to win. It was for it to teach me something and to get rid of some stuff and to die to some stuff. And so when I do run again, we gon' win it, but don't look for the next like couple.
But it's okay though. It's not a no. It's just a not right now.
It's a not right now.
That's it.
And God will redirect us, won't He? Listen,
because all things work together, huh?
So I'm excited because there's just so much happening. Like there really is. There's so much happening, and some of the things that I just been wanting to, I started in communications, radio and television broadcasting,
right,
and counseling, and so I would always be like, God, I want make something happen for me that I can do both of my loves, helping people, but also, doing the entertainment and all of that. And politics and being a TV news commentator and writing op-eds and all the different things that I do, and constantly being on shows like yourself and speaking, I truly love that, right? And so God, politics, just that's my thing. I'm really good. Don't you watch some of the little debate clips? Like,
you come
don't
with
see me on a debate for, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to put some of that stuff in a TV format, and we're going to have some like really dope content for everybody. And then I think, everybody's trying to remove God out of certain conversations. And the thing about me is like, it's the beautiful thing is like, in the work that I do, I'm around atheists, witches and warlocks. I talk about this a lot. I'm a girl, the dark, everything, like I'm around a lot of, people, and I have really good relationships with them. And it sparks up a lot of dialogue because, I know that although my Christianity directs me and directs my paths and why I move the way I move, and Jesus does all that, I still have the ability to reach people. And I'm not trying to convince anybody to be a Christian or whatever. I allow the way I carry my cross in my life to do that for itself. Exactly. And there's so many people that have come to Christ through that. I don't get out there and be preaching to the people because look, I don't want one of them witches and warlocks to get into office, and then now we got to do what they, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So I keep politics in my faith separate to a certain extent in policy making, but I keep it at every part of everything that I do in these personal conversations. When people ask, even in my bio, when people had to read my thing when they were voting for me, it talks about my Christianity and who I am, because that's the core of who I am, right? Exactly. But, I just try to keep, and so I've been finding really great ways to have really good dialogue with Christians around political issues, because you got two types of, us. Mm-hmm. You got the church, the evangelical Trumper Christians, and then you got us, right? And I think it's important. There's not a platform and not enough people except for Candace Owens, and we need to, put her on it. Yeah, we don't have enough people talking about certain things from a Christian standpoint, but still have the ability to go over here and talk to anyone and everybody just about politics and kind of make that separation. And so that's what I really am focused on right now, is creating content and a platform for Christians to talk about things from a Christian lens, but political things, because you got the church folks that say, I don't want anything to do with politics. And then you got the church folks that say, we need to still have the church be leading, in office. And it's like, nah,
Right.
that system don't work for us, because
Right.
see, we just got out of that situation, and that there was
Right.
nothing godly about that, right?
Right. Right.
But I want people to understand, like, we need to have these dialogues, because this is the thing. If you look at Jesus's life, everything that Jesus did was was political, and
Literally.
meaning, and I tell people, from the potholes in the street, to your taxes, to the type of education your kids receive, to what you're eating, all of that is political.
Yeah.
Saving lives, who's going to get saved, who's not. COVID taught us a lot about where we value people in class and all that. And
Right.
Jesus was the main person fighting for the least of these.
Exactly.
And so the church has to reposition itself. We have to be a church of doers, movers,
Yeah.
out there doing the work, and reposition ourselves of what the church actually looks like. And so I'm really creating some stuff that I think you're going to be excited about, because it's really, we go hard for Jesus, right?
Right.
But we do it in a way that people can receive it and
Yeah.
not push them away from it, right?
Right.
And so I want to do that in the political realm as well. And I just want my light. And even if, if it takes you a little bit longer, I want people to know, even if you don't choose him, he's already chosen you, and that's where I operate out of.
I love that. Yeah, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what you got going on. Like I'm already excited. Like I'm
Me
already,
too,
and
girl.
I know everybody else is too. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Mika. So much, so much, so much for
Thank
being a
you.
guest on the
I know
show.
we went over, but
Nah,
so
listen, you
I
good.
hope the people got something
You
out.
good. You are
Okay.
good. It's not a problem at all.
Okay.
Trust me, it ain't
Okay.
a problem.
Yeah.
But before you go,
Mhm.
before you go. So
Mhm.
that's what I do with all my guests. I
Okay.
ask them a question that has nothing to do with what we talked about. It's super random.
Oh
It's out of
God.
the box. It's an impromptu. I'm about to put you on the spot. You ready
Oh
for
God.
it? You ready for it?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All
I'm
right.
ready.
So
Okay.
the before you go question is, what fictional family would you want to be a part of?
Oh, girl, you gave me a good question. Okay. Fictional. I was gonna say the Obamas, but that's not fictional. Okay. Okay.
Not
Hold
fictional.
on. Okay.
Take
Woo.
two.
Fictional. Oh man, this
I
is a
know
good
it's so
question, but
many.
it's hard.
It's so many.
Oh, fictional. Who did I really? Can I say Cosby? Okay, I'm not gonna say.
You could say,
They
listen. You
might
could
throw
say,
the shit. They done canceled him about 15 times.
you could say Cosby's.
No, that was too structured for me.
They were. They were. Yeah.
I need a little bit of dysfunction. Oh no, no, this is hard. This is hard.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay,
give you
name
mine.
a few families.
I'm gonna give you mine. I want to be a part of the Proud family.
Yeah, but that was a little too ghetto for me.
They was a little too ghetto, but it was so much life in there.
The grandma was smoking weed sometimes, and I don't even think Disney knew. You know what I'm saying? I don't
I
think
didn't.
they.
I also wanted to be part of Sister because I always wanted to say "Go home, Roger." Like I always wanted to
Oh,
say that.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Uh, how can I
Oh,
think? Oh, I'm over here. I thought I
I
see that.
know. I
Um.
actually want to know how she could connect.
Oh,
Where could she find you?
Aeiramique. Wait, I did. I guess I didn't give you the handlers.
You
You
didn't.
can find me on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere with this long name that you see.
You need to shorten
This
it.
long name that my mama gave me. If you look from the end backwards, it's Maria. That's my mom's name, but that's why she gave it to me. But you probably didn't know that, Dōmo, huh?
I didn't.
Oh, you
No,
learn something new every
because
day.
I still don't know how to spell your name.
Okay. Well, that's why I just say Dōmo. Because I don't know how to spell yours either. I don't know how to spell nothing. The honest truth, that's my other disability. I can't spell to save my life, okay, Dōmo? But, God can't give you everything, okay? He got to miss. I say he he didn't sprinkle that. Okay,
Right. He got
okay.
to help in somewhere.
Come
He
on,
can't give you all the good things.
all everything. Okay, so
You gotta think of
the
one.
Care Bears. They were a family. Domo, don't do that. Don't do my Care Bears like that.
Nope, I'm not.
They
They
were a
Care
family,
Bears.
Domo.
They were.
Okay. Whew. You almost tried to disqualify them because they look different. Didn't we just talk about that?
I just didn't know that out of all the people that you were gonna choose Bear.
I used to want to be okay, I don't want to go
there.
there.
It's getting worse. It's getting
Okay,
worse.
it's getting
All
worse.
right.
Just redirection. Just
Oh gosh,
you know, we go down these holes.
Right. Mika, thank you so much again for being a guest on the show. I definitely appreciate it. I love you.
I love you
forever and always. Gabe's gonna put you in the back. We're gonna end, and then we're gonna peace out. Love you.
Love you. Thank you so much, Dōmo.
You're welcome. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm just so grateful for my cousin, man. Like, I didn't even know. I didn't even know that she went through all of that. Like I was saying, like as she was talking, I would see her at Christmas, on New Year's, on Thanksgiving. Like I would see her and she would just be just as happy as ever. And I didn't know she was going through all that. That lets you know. You can go through stuff, but you don't gotta look like what you're going through. Woo! Are y'all ready for my word value? The word value for today is, Gabe, what's the word value? Not all strength is physical. Mental strength is the strongest. It's stronger than any muscle you ever have. Let me say that again, because that what Dominique you can read. Not all physical. Wow. Not all strength is physical. Mental strength is stronger than any muscle you have. That's deep. Mika was definitely the one to express what that looks like. I love y'all. Thank you guys so much. I know we went over, but we really didn't, because I mean, a great story is a great story. And it was also great to hear about someone else, what they've been through and how they can overcome it to help you go through what you're dealing with. And always remember, keep God first in everything you do and you'll never be last. You're welcome. I love y'all. Next week, tune in. We have another super dope guest. You already know how we get down. Thank you so much to She Is Still Dope Network. I appreciate the opportunity. First Lady Bailey, thank you again. Next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna be right here live. I'm out. Gabe, you already know what to do. Get me out of here, boss. I love you. I love